What is up, everyone? Welcome back. We are finally ready to start getting into the creating content part of being a content creator. I'm super excited to start this lesson with you guys, so let's go ahead and get started. So, quality matters. I'm not saying that you can't take iPhone photos and land brand deals, but this is a great way to upsell to brands and make more money for yourself. So, one of these examples is when I work with a brand, typically I have the content package on my rate sheet, but if they don't opt for that right away, there has been multiple times where I finished a shoot for a company, I've posted their products on my page, and they ended up loving the content that I created, and they either one wanted me to create content for their website, or two, wanted to purchase the rights to my images to use on their own page. So this creating quality content is a great way to upsell to brands and make more money for yourself. It's also a really good way to stand out. You can also do this on an iPhone though. There's ways to create quality content and you don't have to have a camera necessarily. The next thing we're going to talk about is lighting. So, good lighting can make or break your photos. Usually, the best time to shoot is around an hour or two after sunrise or an hour or two before sunset. That being said, you don't necessarily have to shoot during these times. There's ways to utilize daylight, nightlight, obviously, twilight. You can do astrophotography. If you shoot midday, though, I would recommend knowing what you're looking for, because if you shoot midday, you don't have the right equipment, it can be really hard in post production, and it also creates harsh shadows across your face, across your nose, making your nose look all weird, kind of stuff like that. So if you're shooting in direct sunlight midday, I would recommend either investing in a light diffuser. They're super cheap on Amazon. I'm sure you can buy them in a camera store or maybe even like Best Buy or something. I'm not sure, so don't take my word for that. But anyways, I would invest in one of those. I would get a filter for your camera, or I would try to like play with the lighting and the shadows, find a really like shaded area, or find a place that creates cool shadows in order for you to create quality content that stands out. So the next thing we're going to talk about is adding a subject. So I think adding a subject, which I think should be you, in your content is because it makes you so relatable. And people like this. I don't know if you've noticed, but the recent trend is being you, being real, which I love that. So I would try adding in photos of yourself. I don't know about you, but I've noticed photos of like my face do a lot better than photos of me like facing a mountain landscape or something. Like when people can see your face, it adds emotion, and that's what gets people to react. We are emotional beings, so when we see something that evokes emotion, we're more likely to interact with it. It also puts them there. If you post a photo of just a landscape as opposed to posting a photo with somebody in the landscape, doing that puts them there. They can imagine being there, they can see the scale of how epic it is. So adding a subject is really important to your content. It's also really important to think about the composition and create photos that catch people's eyes and naturally look appealing. If you don't know how to compose a photo, your imagery will fall flat. Composition refers to how objects in the image come together. A few rules to keep in mind while shooting are fill the frame, keep balance, and the rule of thirds. While some blank space in an image can be good, too much can make a photo look bare. A good way to add some texture or dimension in your photos is by including some flora or foliage into the bottom or top of the photo. Keeping balance is a really good way to step up your photography game. Is your photo a bit top heavy with the subject above and close to nothing below? A great way to help keep balance is by centering your subject. The last rule to keep in mind is the rule of thirds. Before taking a photo, think about the scene as if it were divided into three parts. And if you're taking a photo on a camera, typically you have grid lines in the camera that help you decide on where the lines should be. But the rule of thirds suggests that you place your subject areas along the intersecting lines on along your intersecting lines of the grid. And I also always try to keep my horizon at the top third of the photo. So this trick helps you figure out the placement of photo subjects and where to move the camera to create the best composition. So there are 3 ways to get content. The first one is by doing it yourself. The second one is to hire a photographer. Now, this doesn't have to be something that happens all the time in order for you to get the content you need to post every single day. What you can do is schedule a shoot with a photographer once or twice a month. Within this time frame, bring a multitude of outfits, change every 15 minutes just to make it look like you didn't take all your photos in one day. And then you can do this once or twice a month to get the amount of content you need for that month. So it doesn't have to be all the time. This doesn't have to be an expensive process, and hiring a professional photographer is a great way to make your feed and your content stand out. And then the third way you can do this is to plan a group shoot with your friends. So this can be a really fun way to get your content. You can help each other out. This is one of my favorite ways to go adventuring, and it's a great way to get the content that you need. So I want to go over tips for posing. No matter which one of these strategies you use to get your content, there's no doubt that you'll have to learn how to pose. So it is completely normal to feel awkward during a photo shoot. I still feel awkward all the time, especially if people are watching me, but that doesn't mean that you can't get amazing photos that don't come across as awkward. So one of my biggest tips is to move around. The more movement you make, the more chance there is that you're going to get a good photo. So what this means is a slight tilt of your chin, either left or right or up or down. Play with your shirt, play with your hair, just move around. Even if it doesn't feel natural, chances are that during this whole process there's something that you are going to do that looks natural when somebody takes your photo, whether it's you, whether it's professional, whether it's a group shoot. The more movement, the better chance that you have that you're going to snap the perfect photo for you. My next tip is to play your favorite song during a photo shoot. So this can help just uplift your spirits. It can make you feel more comfortable. You can dance. This is a really good way to just get out your creative juices and feel more comfortable during a photo shoot. And you can also bring a friend. Bringing a friend will help boost your confidence and again make you feel more comfortable so that you can get the content that you have always dreamed of. And the last thing I want to talk about in this lesson is plan ahead and think about the pre-production part of the shoot. So my photography game really started to step up when I started thinking about the pre-production of photos. When you go out, take into consideration the color of the environment around you as well as the weather. Choose an outfit with colors that are either going to stand out or blend in depending on the look that you're going for. You can also do this with pattern. If you're going to shoot up against a graffiti wall, for example, you don't want to wear like a crazy pattern colored shirt because it'll just be overwhelming for the eyes and it won't look balanced. So if you're going with a crazy pattern background, maybe choose an outfit that is more plain, just like a plain white shirt or something that's going to make you stand out. And the last thing I want to talk about is the time of day. So the time of day can really help make your photos look consistent. So when you're doing photo shoots, you want to create consistency throughout your feed in order to build trust and confidence with your audience. When they see your photo, they want to know that it's you who posted it right away. And one really good way to do this is to shoot around the same time every day. Now, this isn't vital. You absolutely don't need to do this, and your photos can look consistent without shooting at the same time. But for example, I shoot most of my photos around sunrise or sunset because it creates that same kind of golden glow effect. And that's how I create consistency in my feed. So that's the end of this lesson. I hope you guys found that helpful. In the next lesson, I will go over some editing tutorials for you guys. and I will see you in the next lesson.